everyone! In our last lesson, we explored color models for design systems. In this video, based on that model, we're going to dive into the actual formulas used to build a complete color palette. We're going to use the HSB model we learned last time to design a logical color palette driven by mathematical rules and formulas, rather than just choosing colors by instinct. This video might be a bit challenging, so please make sure to follow along closely. Up until last time, we thoroughly discussed why we should use the HSB model instead of hex codes or RGB. Now, it's time to take that theory and apply it to real-world practice. Using the color model we worked so hard to choose, let's first look into the fundamental reasons why we need to turn our color palette into a formula, and what advantages we gain when we convert colors into structured mathematical rules. When we build a design system, if we define colors using simple hex codes or arbitrary numbers without rules, they remain nothing more than raw data. This approach might seem fine at first, but the moment your service grows or the brand color suddenly changes, it creates massive inefficiency. That's because every time a base color changes, designers have to manually recalculate the brightness and contrast values for countless components one by one. But when we thoroughly formulate our color palette right from the start, the story completely changes. Thanks to precisely crafted mathematical rules, no matter what base color is fed into the system, matching scales of brightness and saturation are automatically extracted. In other words, you end up with a design system where color changes are fully predictable and completely under control. A color palette driven by formulas like this becomes a huge advantage when designing dark mode or ensuring compliance with web accessibility guidelines. That's because the formula automatically calculates and completely prevents subtle contrast errors that are easy to miss when picking colors by eye. To reduce designer mistakes and automate communication with developers, formulating your color palette in a design system is not optional, it's essential. Now that you understand why formulating colors is so important, it's time to build the actual framework for our color palette. In this video, we'll look at the basic scale structure, specifically how to construct lighter and darker shades from our base color. To create a formula-based color palette, let me first define the entire scale into 10 steps. Then, for the base color, we place our primary color at number 6. This number 6 color will serve as the core base color for all our formulas. Now, centered around our base point, number 6, let's fill in the left area, steps 1 through 5. We call this section the light scale, which represents the steps lighter than our base color. By applying rules that increase brightness and decrease saturation as we get closer to white, these shades are mainly used for backgrounds or large surface UI elements. On the flip side, steps 7 through 10 to the right of our base point represent the dark scale section, which covers shades darker than our base color. Here, we create visual weight by applying a formula that lowers brightness. Colors at this stage are primarily used for text where readability is critical, or for expressing different button states. We just built our palette based on number 6, but in reality, this base point doesn't necessarily have to be number 6. Depending on the inherent brightness or characteristics of your brand color, you could also set number 5 or number 4 as your reference point. Please remember that the key is to set an appropriate middle point in the overall scale as your base, and then build a consistent light scale and dark scale around it. Now that we've established the framework for our color palette, it's time to fill in the colors using mathematics. Rather than just adjusting brightness by intuition, we're going to explore the core logic for precisely calculating HSB values. Now let's learn the core logic of formula design, which is the most critical part of this color section. The 3 variables of the HSB model we learned last time each play a distinct role in our formulas. Hue, H, creates the flow, while saturation, S, and brightness, B, control the energy of the color. From now on, instead of adjusting these 3 values by eye, we're going to control them using precise mathematical calculations. The first logic we'll cover is the relationship between brightness and saturation. From our base point at number 6 moving toward the light scale, we apply a rule where brightness increases and saturation decreases. Conversely, as we move toward the dark scale, brightness drops. What's important here is that rather than a linear approach of simply adding or subtracting values by fixed amounts, using a smooth curve algorithm creates a much more natural and refined color scale. Simply adding and subtracting the exact same values won't give you a curve algorithm. Maintaining visual consistency across every step while staying harmoniously aligned with your base color requires a different strategy. That strategy is applying different step values to the light scale and dark scale separately. When you adjust the values for each section to match how the human eye perceives color, you naturally get a smooth curve equation instead of a straight line. Taking this one step further brings us to a technique used by experts called hue tilting. As brightness changes, the hue value, H, is also subtly adjusted along with it. Typically, the light scale shifts its hue toward warm, sunlight-like yellow tones, while the dark scale shifts toward cool, shadow-like violet tones. This prevents the colors from looking muddy and keeps the shifting shades closely tied to your base color. Completing the color mechanism is the process of weaving all these variables into a single formula. Once you input your base color into the equation, our designed brightness curves and hue tilting logic kick in, automatically calculating every HSB value from step 1 to step 10. Now you're no longer a designer who relies solely on intuition to build a color palette. You can now generate a complete color palette using logical formulas. There is a real-world case that beautifully implements the complex color mechanism we just studied: Ant Design. Let's dive into their actual codebase and uncover what mathematical logic they used to build a color palette that handles thousands of components. Let's look at Ant Design's open source code to see how the color palette we discussed actually functions in code. Looking at the code, it's declared to generate 5 steps in the lighter scale, the upper brightness range, and 4 steps in the darker scale, relative to the main color. In other words, the core color you input is defined as the base color in slot number 6, and as numbers are added above and below it, a complete 10-step scale is automatically formed. So, what formulas do they use to fill in these colors? The key is that they applied variable formulas with different rates of change for the light and dark sides. In the code, moving toward the light scale increases brightness slowly by 5% per step, but moving toward the dark scale drops brightness sharply by 15% per step. Saturation follows a similar logic. It aggressively drops by 16% on the lighter side, while subtly increasing by 5% on the darker side. They implemented a perfect curve logic by calculating the difference in how the human eye perceives light and dark through mathematical variables. The most critical part is that hue tilting, the technique of rotating hue values, is fully automated in the code. When moving toward the light scale, the color rotates 2 degrees toward yellow, as if catching natural sunlight. When moving toward the dark scale, it rotates 2 degrees toward violet or blue, as if falling into shadow. This code controls through formulas the very calculations of light that designers used to do by intuition. Let me show you the detailed conditions to explain how the formulas we just saw actually work. Ant Design uses a function called hue to calculate the inherent angle of a color. In the code, it clearly separates control based on whether the base color's H value falls between 60 degrees and 240 degrees, or outside that range. If the base color is in the green or blue spectrum between 60 and 240 degrees, the H value decreases to make lighter shades and increases to make darker shades. Conversely, if it falls outside that range, in the red or purple spectrum, the H value increases for lighter shades and decreases for darker shades. To put it even more simply, you can think of this code as a formula that automatically finds the right direction. No matter what color you enter, it runs toward warm yellow as it gets lighter and toward cool blue as it gets darker. So far, we've explored how to design a logical color palette using mathematical rules and formulas. Doing these calculations by hand every time in real-world practice can be a bit tedious. So, to wrap up today's video, I'll briefly introduce a few reference websites that will come in handy when you build your color palette. The first tool worth checking out is Ant Design's Color tool, which we analyzed in the codebase earlier. On this site, all you have to do is enter your primary color, and it shows you how a 10-step palette is generated in real time based on Ant Design's formula. It's the most intuitive place to see how the formulas we learned transform into a beautiful flow of colors on actual screens. The next site I'd like to introduce is Atmos. Just like Ant Design, it's a formula-based color generator. However, unlike Ant Design, it can generate a color palette with up to 17 steps. Because it offers 17 steps, you can extract a much more delicate and granular color scale. Next is Colorbox, developed by Kevin Arnott, the head of design platforms at Yahoo. This tool pushes the curve algorithms we studied to their absolute visual limit. It allows you to directly adjust the rate of change for hue, saturation, and brightness using graph curves. It's a fantastic reference where you can adjust levers firsthand to experience how much the feel of a color palette changes depending on how you tweak the formulas. The last tool I want to share is a paid Figma plugin called Supa Palette. Although it's paid, it's well worth the investment. It allows you to extract the formulas we learned earlier right within the plugin. It makes building color palettes much more convenient, making it a great reference plugin to keep in mind when building a design system. So far, we've learned how to design a color palette algorithm centered around a base color. You should now understand why global design systems build their color palettes with mathematical rules rather than sheer intuition. Once you've completed your color palette like this, it's time to make these colors function properly within your interface. Next time, we'll look at how to name these colors effectively. See you in the next video. I'm Dudu.